NBA legends explain why Luka Doncic is so crazy good. The opinions of NBA legends carry huge weight and can sway public opinion about a player. From Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley to Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich, there is no shortage of greats in the NBA who have sung Luka Doncic's praises. Interested in their opinions, huh? Keep an ear out for what these greats have to say about Doncic. Keep watching till the end of this video to see what the NBA legend has to say about the rising star, Luka Doncic. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. To kick things off, let's start with Michael Jordan, the GOAT of the 90s basketball, the Hall of Famer. Jordan's greatness isn't up for debate. His jersey number, 23, became such a huge trademark that teams even retired his number. What did he have to say about Luka Doncic? Luka is a phenomenal player, and at such a young age, said Jordan after he signed Doncic to Jordan Brand back in 2019. He's demonstrating the skills that take many guys years to develop. It will be incredible to watch him continue to advance in the league. Luka's skill is without a doubt acknowledged, but Jordan, being true to his brand, would not go into greater lengths to define Luka's ability in order to preserve his own legacy. But Mr. Jerry West, who is the logo of the NBA, doesn't mind dishing out praises for Doncic. West praised Luka's skills and said the Mavs are lucky to have a 20-year-old star who plays like him. And he hasn't even scratched the surface. It's fun to watch, and that's what Luka Doncic, is. Jerry West gives the Slovenian great acclaim, showing that he considers the player to be among the all-time greats. Charles Barkley is another example of a person with strong views who doesn't hold back his thoughts. NBA Hall of Famer and top 75 player of all time, Charles Barkley had some great thoughts about Dallas Mavericks superstar Luka Doncic. "I don't think there's a ceiling for Luka," Barkley said. "I think he is just special." To hear that from one of the greatest NBA players ever is a huge compliment. Let me tell you something, that boy Doncic, he's the real deal. As we used to say in my day, that's a bad white boy. I mean, he's not there yet, but we're getting really close to little black kids in the hood wearing his jersey. Real close. It used to be Larry Bird, Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, Ginobili. That was it. Doncic, if he keeps playing like this, we're going to see his number in the hood. However, Luka's popularity was generally unwavering, particularly before the draft. Among those who expressed his doubts the loudest was Barkley. "I don't trust foreign competition. I don't have anything against foreign players. I just don't know what kind of a competition it is. They're like, at 18 years old, he was the MVP. Well, that tells me he was playing against weak competition. Nobody at 18 should be dominating grown men. I don't care how bad the grown men are. You go back and look at the NBA. I've been in the NBA for over 30 years. There's one 18-year-old that you can go back to and say, oh, he's the real deal. That's LeBron James. People forget, as great as Kobe was, he struggled for the first few years. Kevin Garnett struggled in his first few years. They keep telling me Doncic won MVP at 18. He shouldn't be dominating grown men at 18. For this kid to be dominating, I wouldn't take him with the number 1 or 2 picks in the NBA draft. Indeed, even if you're a legendary player, spotting talent isn't a skill that everyone possesses. Luka caught the attention of the whole basketball world. Even the notorious San Antonio Spurs and USA coach Greg Popovich shared huge praise for the Slovenian point guard while talking to the media in the USA training camp. A legendary coach like Greg Popovich offered a more measured perspective on Luka. A quintessential basketball player, he has an intrinsic feel for the game. He was built for the game. Also, he probably would be a great handball player, but at that size, to have that passing ability, that vision on the court, the confidence he plays with, He shoots the ball well. He competes. He just loves the game of basketball. His skills are top-notch, so he's just a joy to watch. Greg Popovich is not the type of coach who will give a compliment unless he truly means it. He is genuine, and genuine in his coaching. He compared Doncic to another player, which was a nice touch. I hate to say this, he's not Magic Johnson, but it's Magic Johnson-like in the sense that he sees the floor in the same way. He's got a real intuitive sense, and you can't teach that. He's just got it, and he's great at it. I'm not trying to put Magic Johnson pressure on him. He's not ready for that yet, but he's doing a hell of a job. You can see that he has nothing but utmost regard and admiration for the Slovenian star. Pop is arguably the greatest coach of all time. He led Team USA to an Olympic gold medal and has 5 NBA championship rings. So it was amazing to hear him give the Mavericks superstar such high praise. We mentioned NBA legend Magic Johnson. But what did Magic Johnson himself have to say about the 23-year-old rising star's game? Luka Doncic's game-winning three-pointer against the Celtics in the 2020-21 season further proves why he's a once-in-a-lifetime player and MVP candidate. Clearly, Magic loves Luka and dreams of the day he and Anthony Davis can create an unstoppable duo for the Los Angeles Lakers. People often make fun of Magic for saying things on Twitter that are so obvious, but this one had to be said. Doncic is the kind of player who only comes around once in a lifetime, and he's only going to get better as time goes on, which could be scary for the rest of the league. Another NBA legend and one of the greatest three-point shooters to ever grace the NBA court, Reggie Miller, was also asked about his thoughts on Luka Doncic. When asked about Luka's comparison to Larry Bird, Miller had this to say: "Larry Bird was a straight assassin scorer. He would put 35 on you in a half. He had that killer instinct. Luka has that killer instinct offensively and can pass you the basketball. Luka tries to embarrass you. I think in terms of who's closer to Larry Bird, in my opinion, it would be Luka Doncic." Miller was also asked where Luka would place among the all-time greats, and he said, "I'm not surprised. He's into that elite conversation and probably in a lot of circles, the best point guard in the game at age 20. Speaking of great point guards, NBA legend Steve Nash also had his fair share of thoughts about Luka. About Luka's game, I think he's maybe the best 20-year-old the NBA has ever seen. The game's a little different than when LeBron James came into the league. The numbers are a little inflated because of the pace and hand check, but still, I think LeBron was so gifted, but I don't think he was as polished as Luka at 20. Now, Luka's never going to be the athlete LeBron is, but he's a great athlete. He's an underrated athlete. He's going to be a Hall of Fame player if he stays healthy." The retired two-time NBA MVP spoke highly of Luka Doncic. Before playing in the NBA, Doncic had played professionally in Europe since he was 13. He played in the EuroLeague for Real Madrid. Many compare him to another NBA great from Europe, Dirk Nowitzki. When Nash was asked if Luka could be better than Dirk, this is what he responded: "It's possible for sure, especially when you look at Dirk at 20. Dirk was amazing at 20, but compared to Luka, because physically he was catching up. Luka is already there physically. Dirk was a rare thing then. Now it's normal for a guy to come from Europe and be good right away. But Luka is not normal in any way. He has a chance to be better than Dirk, and Dirk's one of the best players we ever had. That says how incredible of a player and talent Luka is." NBA analyst Paul Pierce, a former Celtics great, also praised Doncic. Paul Pierce dropped a truth bomb on Mavs star Luka Doncic as true MVP. "Probably the most skilled player in the NBA. Me and him have a lot in common. No, seriously though. He looks slow, lethargic, but he always gets there to the right spot. He's a better passer. But as far as scoring ability, me and him have a lot in common. I expect special things from him. You talk about a kid who made one of the biggest leaps in recent memory from a Rookie of the Year to an MVP caliber player. He's special and has all the talent. While Pierce may have claimed that he sees many similarities between himself and Doncic, his admiration and respect for Doncic's skills are clear. Philadelphia head coach Doc Rivers also had some high praise for the basketball prodigy from Slovenia, comparing him to a familiar foe of Rivers from the 2010s. When asked about Doncic, former Celtics head coach Doc Rivers had similar things to say. Doncic has the ability to score. He gets to the paint, he's strong, and he's an elite passer. So there's no great offense that doesn't start with a great player, and he's a great player. When asked about comparing Luka to other players, Rivers said, "Luka to me is a little bit of both Larry Bird and Jason Kidd. He has the passing of Jason Kidd, but he also has the scoring ability of Larry Bird, and that's what makes him such a difficult cover. I have crazy respect for Doncic as a player. He's a terrific player. I love his toughness. He plays with great joy. It's funny you forget that he's still young. I heard someone say that yesterday and I thought, wait a minute. It feels like he's been around for a long time already, which means that this is truly a sign of Luka's greatness." Another legendary player turned coach in the shape of Steve Kerr did not hold back on praising Luka Doncic's abilities. He said, "He's got this James Harden skill set with crossovers and step backs. He's a brilliant player and so young, and he's going to be one of the cornerstones of the league for a long time. He's a combination of a lot. James Harden in some ways, obviously the Larry Bird comparison. He has great vision, LeBron-ish. There's a lot of people in him, but I think when he retires, people are going to say he was Luka." This is a big deal, not only because Kerr coaches the Mavs' biggest rival, but also because he is a legendary NBA player who won 5 championships as a player, including 3 with Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls in the late 1990s. Steve Kerr also had room to praise Luka's in-game mental toughness. For him to be poised and have the confidence and the cockiness, kind of like a little swagger that he has at this young age in his career, is very, very rare. You know he's got this incredible knack for seeing the floor and being a step ahead. He reminds me a little of Larry Bird in that regard. He's kind of one step ahead in the chess match. Doncic is a one-of-a-kind player, and he deserves all the recognition he can get from fans and experts alike. Their high regard for him shows just how talented and complete a player he really is. He has earned respect from even the most elite players in the league, and that speaks volumes about his skill on the court. He continues to prove himself with each game, and he is sure to be a force to be reckoned with in the future. See you in the next video.